guys do too. This is awesome. We get a lot of working done today. So I would love for everyone to write down what is a goal that you have that for this year that you have not yet achieved, but are still very, very committed to achieving. So everybody can get that quickly. A goal that you're still committed to achieving, but you have not yet this year achieved it. Those of you who have it, just look up so I can tell everyone I got one. Awesome. Now, by show of hands, how many look at your goal and it's a money-related goal? How many have a financially related goal? Wow, not as many as I thought. How many of you have a time-related goal? Getting more time back, more travel, things like that. Okay, a few more. How many of you have a team-related goal? Hiring people, having less headaches, getting people to actually do what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah. There's actually more of that in the room than money. So interesting enough, these are the main three things that our team is really, really good at handling. And it's the most common areas of challenge in a business. So I just wanted to see in the room kind of where we all were at and what we're focusing on right now. My next question for you is, what is an example for you of something that you have now done, but you wish you had done much earlier and had not been putting it off for as long as you did? Can you think of something that was of huge value to you that you did do eventually, but you wish you had done it earlier? Examples I hear are like putting a CRM in place, or John was just sharing with me, he's using Trello to manage all tasks in his business. Tools like that are things I hear a lot about. Other things might be getting better understanding of your financials, which is something Stacy probably hears all the time too. So does everybody have one of those? Yes, something that you know that you should have done earlier and didn't quite realize it until you did it? Now I want you to write down how long did it take you from the first time you thought about doing it to when you actually did it. It could be a month, it could be years. I've heard 20 years plus before. How long did that sit before you took action on it and actually completed it? For those of you who are still with me, how much did you waste in financial, if you put a value to it, from waiting that long? Does anybody have an idea of how much got wasted on actually waiting that length of time? I've heard all kinds of different answers to this question. Why am I asking this, do you think? So that you start to really relate how important it is to stay focused on your goals and to know what's truly important to you, because if you don't understand what your goals are, definitely not going to be focused on them. But it's a common thing to keep putting it off. I heard a great podcast quote this morning that put me in my seat, and I actually shared it on Facebook because it was so powerful. Excuses are endless, they will continue forever, but time is not.
That's true.
And so starting to really put time frames to your goals and figuring out how to overcome them is something that our team is doing every single day with business owners. And it's something that I would be more than happy to even do in a one-to-one to help you really get centered and clear. Some of the things that I wanted to share with you from today is, and it was funny because I was just listening to some of our testimonial videos for a project I'm working on, and someone mentioned that was a huge value that they got from coaching, was the fact that they kept humming and hovering over the investment and realized that there's so many things that they actually had put off for so long that was wasting so much more money than they actually invested in coaching to get it done. And so things started happening once they were in coaching. Why do you think things happen faster when you've got someone holding you accountable and bringing you back to the things that you should be working on, not in?
For that reason.
For what reason?
What you just said.
Yes.
Somebody holding you accountable and keeping you focused, making you aware of time isn't
Yes. The
forever.
time is clicking, right?
Time is clicking.
Because there's so many times where that's come up where, just even the reminder and staying on top of something, not just even having the insight of how to actually get started or what's the best practice or what does the science tell us is the best way to go about it. That's an added bonus of being, connected to a franchise that's internationally recognized, over 80 countries, definitely knows what the best practices are, but it's actually this point of being reminded of the things that are really important to us that usually keep repeating each year. It'll be at the top of the list next year, at the top of the list. I really want to do this year. This is the year. And it happens over and over again. Sometimes it's every quarter that happens. Sometimes it's literally every 5 years that's happening. But hopefully this is even drawing your attention to what you said you wanted to achieve this year, to get that back on your plate and to really get serious. We've got how many months left? You know, retail, all my retail clients are already pre-planning Christmas now and ordering for it, booking events for it. That's how close we are to the end of the year. It's already started to become part of the view in a lot of the planning that we're doing. So one thing I always hear when you're thinking about referrals is the investment. I feel like that comes up the most in thinking about what the return on investment is. And so this was one that was shared from a client that I just recently listened to, was about this kind of evaluating how much are you actually wasting by not investing, whether it's us or not, it's not really relevant. It's about you finding someone that you connect with that's gonna be consistent. Because here's 3 things that we're different from others. Some of you know this in the room. Some of this might be new to some of you who haven't heard this before. One is the one that I mentioned. The fact that we're in over 80 countries is huge. Why? Because most business owners feel like they're very different and they're alone, and what they're challenged with is their own unique challenges in their own unique industry. When it's not really the fact, when you think about this is in over 80 countries, how many different languages that is, and different cultures, and different business models, different business industries. And I review the testimonials from around the world. They're all very similar to what we're doing here in the local area. Plus, you have the top 3 firm in the world here in your local community. We're actually leading our franchise on results and how we're growing and helping more business owners. So it's a huge asset that you can share with referrals of how we're leading the way, even an international franchise that's leading the way in our industry. Thank you. The other one is that we're very comprehensive. I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, but it's very unusual to find a coach that actually understands financials, marketing, sales, recruitment, systems development, planning, and execution. They just usually have one area of specialty. So they'll be really great at marketing. Some of them are really great at sales. Some of them just focus on financials. So to find someone that actually knows all those different facets that are critical to building a business that works without you really makes us different. And I'll tell you, when we hire coaches, we have to work on their areas that they're weak in and train them on those areas. That's something I had to work on when I started it too. But that's the power of having someone that really understands. Because here's the other thing, there's lots of coaches or consultants that will come in and give you lots of ideas. Are we lacking ideas? No. I mean, ChatGPT, I wrote that rhyme on ChatGPT for Dr. J. I mean, the amount of ideas are only growing. They're in huge supply. And there's always more ideas. Do you guys have people offering you ideas all the time? Okay, good. I'm not the only person that gets ideas all the time. The point is really about how you pick, how to prioritize, how to make good decisions, who's gonna get strategic questions to you to figure out how to pick what goes first. And the other challenge with just getting quick advice in the moment for one little thing is that that person doesn't always know how it interacts with the whole picture. Kind of going back to the comprehensive side. So these are some things I wanted to mention so that you could better educate referrals, is that sometimes just getting a quick idea could actually impact that business financially. We've met businesses that literally look like from the outside, they're doing amazing. But when you actually look at their financials, they're in debt, they've been borrowing, they do not know their numbers. So having an idea about how to sell more things or to market more is actually detrimental to them. Even investing in marketing and having like an angry mother-in-law answering the phone is not going to be a good thing for that business. But if they don't understand how their sales process is working, who's doing the sales, then they're not gonna know that giving that quick advice was not helpful. So think about these 3 things when you're thinking about educating referral partners, that how we're really different is 1, we're leading in a global franchise. 2, we're very comprehensive in our approach so that you know that when we're giving you advice, we're looking at your whole business. And 3, we consistently meet with business owners so that they get results consistently. Thanks, guys.